So high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
We have
Dangerous times, don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world and keep the sky on your mind.
As always, everything we discuss is for entertainment and is speculation. Please like and subscribe, and definitely join our discussion in the comments. If you're ready, let's get into it. Welcome back to Typically Unique. Hello, everybody. This is our Monday Live, and I have a new case for you today. I see Brooke and Donna. Hello. How are you guys today? Hey, Christy. How are you? That video that you dropped was crazy with the extra footage walking to the grub truck and everything. Oh my gosh. Lots to see in there. I hope everybody's having a good day. That extra hour of sleep that we got Saturday night disappeared on me this morning. I thought I had all this time, and I looked up and I was like, oh my goodness, it's almost showtime. I lost that hour again. Funny. Hope everybody had a good weekend. We had our trick-or-treating on Saturday, and I wasn't sure about the weather because it was going to be rainy, but we always have tons of trick-or-treaters, and this year did not disappoint. It was fun. We sat outside with a fire and handed out candy, and that was a lot of fun. Another thing I wanted to share with you before we get started, today's episode. So I have another case that we're going to watch. It's short. I made a video for it, and you'll get to watch the case and see if you can figure out who did it. But there's always going to be a nugget in these cases that I share where I can pull something out that I want to connect to the Idaho 4 case. And today's topic is looking at the medical examiner. And I have been on a mission to find anything I can about Veena Singh. Reportedly, her name is in the reports. So she is the medical examiner from Spokane, Washington. That's named to have done the medical, to do the autopsy. And I can't find any cases. I wanted to see what she was like testifying in court, and I couldn't find anything. Maybe all the cases end up in plea deals, or they don't end up going to trial. I don't know. It was very hard. I do have some information on her, and the actual, the report that we got so far isn't the official report yet. So, I'm waiting for that. And of course, I guess since they're going backwards, it makes sense that it might be one of the last things, but I don't think it's in the latest ISP drop. That's all about the DNA. I zipped through all those files and glanced at all of them, and there was nothing about autopsy in there. So let me read some of your comments here. You guys are talking about a report. Let's see. Report 77. I just read those from the MPD. Brooke, is that the Moscow Police Department 77? That was in my latest document reads. Is that the one with the what was in that set? I can't remember. Was that the camper, the guy at the campground? Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, let me pull that up real quick, but we'll look at that probably. Oh, of course my email isn't showing up. Oh, there it is. Okay. So another thing that I wanted to oh, the guy that said he was in the house. Yes. That's the yep. Later on, when we're done with the live, if you want to go back and watch my latest video that I did, I read document 71 to 80. So she's talking about document 77. And I'm so frustrated that we can't figure out any of the names of who they're talking about. And the guy that's in the story there, he's like this young man who has anger issues. His mom's like all over his neck all the time, calling him a loser, and he's going to be a waste of his life. And when he gets mad at his mom, he'll go to the campus, the University of Idaho campus, and he's angry and he's got a grudge. And he has a grudge against college students because he claimed that maybe his mom was sexually assaulted on campus. Like his mom seems like she has a drinking problem now from hanging out on campus. And my question is like, how old's the mom? Like they said that when they crash on campus, she like sleeps in sheds. I'm like, what? Where is this happening? And the funny thing is that, well, no, it's funny, but coincidental. The mom's initials start with an L. I want to say LM. Am I right about that? I'm just going off memory because I just read it recently. And I have this gut feeling. I just have this funny that this is pure speculation, just my thinking. Wasn't the friend, and I could be wrong on this, that Dylan said she brought home with her to watch TV, didn't her initials start with an L? So I want to find out who's this mom, like what's her name? How old is she? Like, is she real good friends with kids on campus? Like, just what's that? Is there any connection there? Like, I think that's, but what Brooke was highlighting in that article is that the kid with the anger issues told somebody, and this somebody reported it to the police, that he snuck into the girl's house. He knew Maddie and Kaylee. Like he accused them of being lesbians. And he said, I hid in their house and I could have killed them and nobody would have ever known. They never knew I was there. So, hello. Wow. That's huge. Yes, please hit the like button on your way in. I'd appreciate that. And I see some members in here. Hi to Ro. And if you are a member, there are some special emojis in there that you can use. Now, until we get more members, you're limited. You can only do a few custom emojis. I have a whole lot more ready to go. The ones that I made are just like the ones we always use, like good to see you and all that stuff. But instead of typing it out, I was trying to help you out. You can just post it. Yeah, I wonder how long he stayed in there, right? That's creepy, man. Woof. I don't know. Okay. One thing I did last week that I told you guys about is I went to see James Renner. He is from Akron, Ohio. He lives there currently, and he started out as his origin story is really cool, like really cool. He said he was a just graduated from college, working at a restaurant, and he loved the magazine, The Cleveland Scene, and he ended up writing an article for them. And back then he was like, an article would get you like 2,500 bucks. Like, and then he said, I want to work for you. And they hired him. They put him in the mailroom at first, but he ended up doing investigative cases for them. And he really dug into the Amy Mihaljevic case. I'll cover that someday. She was from Bay Village and went missing. Her case is still unsolved to this day. And he dives into these cases. He has covered Maura Murray, and I have the book back here on my stand. It's called True Crime Addict, and he's an author. He's written several books. I think he wrote a book about Amy Mihaljevic, like Finding Amy or something like that. His writing is very down to earth, easy reads, interesting. I like his style of writing. He really lost himself in the Maura Murray case. Like, that case is the rabbit holes of rabbit holes. It's still unsolved, although now today they do have a suspect, and he's already in prison for something else. But they're still looking into him. So that's one of my all-time cold cases that I want to see solved. So it seems like they're pretty close to it. But James Renner was interesting to hear him talk. He told his, story about becoming a writer, and a little bit about the different books and cases. He told another case, a cold case, Amy Pruitt, who is, I believe, from Shaker Heights, Ohio. He focuses on Ohio because he's from Ohio. I got to talk to him at the end of the night, and told him that, I follow his YouTube channel. So, and I've been leaving comments on there. And I told him about that case that we have in our town. We have a 14-year-old boy who went missing back in the 90s, and his case has never been solved. And there's some peculiar things about that case. His mom moved away and changed her name. So I was telling him about it, and he seemed really interested, and he said, send it to him. So I think I'm going to send him that and see if he wants to dive into that. That would be pretty interesting. He also wrote this book that I was like, oh, I don't know if I'd be interested in that one, but it was called Boy Scout. Have any of you read his books? But he read an excerpt from it, and I was completely enthralled. Like, he went to this Boy Scout camp that did this ritual where they would like take them out across the street into this wooded area, and like, this ritual was crazy. Like, they had to like stand a certain way and not move, and then they would like dare them to do something. I don't know, but if I was a young boy, I would be like completely freaked out. So and he only told us about, I guess there were 4 stages of this ritual, and he only told us one, and I'm like, okay, I need to read the book now because I need to know the other stages of this crazy place. Yeah, I have a picture of him. Let me see. I'm gonna pull this stuff up because it was interesting. We got time to hang out, right? Let's see. Which one do I want? No, that's not what I want. Well, I will, I don't have it ready right now, so I'll post them like on our community post or something. And I'm gonna make a video of him because I took a whole bunch of footage too. So let's see. Truth, Crime, and Justice. I can't, you guys, my eyesight, I need stronger glasses. Hello to you. Truth and justice, true crime. I got it. I can see. I saw Jeff H. Hello. All right. So this case that I'm going to share with you guys today is the case of Mandy Stavik. Do you guys know that case? She grew up in the Pacific Northwest in the state of Washington. And this case was solved, but we're going to go through what happened to her, who the suspects were at the time, and listen to what the medical examiner had to say when we get to that part, because that's what I want to talk about after we listen to this case. Let me get it back to the beginning. I gotta see if it's sharing. Sorry, hold on a minute. There we go. It was Thanksgiving weekend, 1989. Hold on. Oh, it is sharing. All right. And is my volume good? Everything good? I'll let it play for a minute and then check and see if it's loud enough. I had to put my disclaimer up so I don't get flagged. It was Thanksgiving weekend, 1989, in Acme, Washington. One of those tiny Pacific Northwest towns where everyone waves when they pass by, and where the sound of the river mixes with the hum of old trucks on gravel roads. Mandy Stavik, 18 years old, was home from her first semester ever at Central Washington University. She was full of life, athletic, smart, and funny. Her mom, Mary Stavik, said Mandy could walk into a store and make 3 friends before she left. She was an honor roll student, a flute player in the band, an athlete who'd been captain of her high school track team. Mandy had big dreams. She talked about becoming a teacher or a writer, maybe even traveling after college. That Thanksgiving weekend was supposed to be about family, food, and plans for the future. On Friday, November 24th, Mandy spent most of the morning relaxing with her mom and siblings. That afternoon, she said she was going to go for a run, her usual route along Strand Road, with her German Shepherd mix, Kyra, trotting faithfully beside her. She told her mom she'd be back soon. She had plans that evening to go to the movies with a friend. But Mandy never made it to the movies. Only Kyra came home, and Mary knew instantly. She said later, that dog never left Mandy. If she came home alone, it meant something was terribly wrong. As the sun set that evening, neighbors began to worry. Calls went out, cars drove up and down the dirt roads, flashlights cut through the fog as volunteers and deputies searched fields, creeks, and barns. For 3 agonizing days, the small town held its breath. Then, on November 27th, the worst was confirmed. Searchers found Mandy's body in the Nooksack River about 3 miles from her home. She had been raped and drowned. The news spread like wildfire. People cried openly in grocery store aisles. Doors that had never been locked before were bolted shut. Parents stopped letting their daughters jog alone. That weekend was supposed to be filled with leftovers and laughter. Instead, Acme, Washington would never be the same again. The water had taken more than her life. It had taken Acme's sense of safety. The investigation began before the shock even settled. Acme, Washington was plunged into shock. The Whatcom County Sheriff's Office quickly secured the area along Strand Road, where Mandy had last been seen jogging. Officers scoured the road, fields, and riverbanks looking for footprints, tire marks, or anything that might identify her killer. The place was quiet except for the hum of police radios and the crunch of boots in the mud. Deputies marked the tracks, searched ditches, and combed the brush for signs of a struggle. They found shoe prints near the road, large, male, and evidence that a vehicle might have stopped suddenly. There were drag marks leading toward the river. Then came the medical examiner's report. The medical examiner found that Mandy had been raped and drowned. She noted that she had no defensive wounds, suggesting that she may have been overpowered quickly. Toxicology tests were negative. She hadn't ingested drugs or alcohol. The medical examiner also documented trace fibers on her clothing consistent with clothing from nearby vehicles or the killer's environment. The medical examiner was able to determine she had probably escaped and was running through an area thick with thorns based on the type of scratches on her legs. She also had a head injury and water in. Hi guys. Hi Dago. Hi William. Yeah, we are watching this case. It is solved, but we're going to go through it. If you already know it, no spoilers because we're going to listen to it and look at the suspects. But I wanted to focus on the medical examiner. So there's going to be a part in here that explains what the medical examiner did in this case and what she was able to determine. And then we're going to talk about medical examiner stuff after this. So I'll drop the link after. If Dago, I don't know how busy you are. If you want to come up, I'll do that after this. But it's only a 15-minute video, so it'll be over in a few minutes. And I made it myself. In her lungs, indicating she was knocked unconscious and then drowned. It was 1989. DNA testing was barely being introduced. The technology existed, but it was expensive, limited, and slow. Still, detectives collected everything they could, labeling it carefully, storing it for the day when science might finally have an answer. The detective and his team began interviewing everyone who'd had contact with Mandy. Family, friends, neighbors. Over 100 interviews in the first few weeks alone. They asked about her run, her route, and anyone who might have been out that day. The area was rural. Long driveways, barns, pastures, thick brush along the riverbank. It was the kind of place where a person could disappear without anyone noticing. Early theories pointed in all directions. Some believed it was a transient passing through on Thanksgiving holiday. Others whispered about local men who had admired Mandy from afar. She was well-liked, maybe too well-liked. There were rumors about jealous classmates, spurned crushes, and suspicious neighbors. One name reportedly came up more than once. A neighbor, a local man, who lived less than a mile from Mandy's house. But back then, there was nothing concrete linking him to the crime. He wasn't known as violent, and without physical evidence, detectives couldn't make a case. The days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and then into years. Every Thanksgiving, reporters would call Mary Stavik asking the same question, "Any updates?" Every year, she'd answer the same heartbreaking truth, "No, not yet." In the meantime, life went on in Acme. People grew up, moved away, had families, but the shadow of Mandy's murder never really faded. Parents still warned their kids not to walk alone. People still remembered the sound of search helicopters over the river. Police followed every lead, psychics, sketches, local tips, but nothing stuck. They conducted over 1,500 interviews and collected hundreds of DNA samples.
Do you guys like that sketch?
Still no one matched. Over time, a short list of suspects began to emerge. A passing motorist, a local farmhand, a boyfriend, and a quiet, seemingly harmless neighbor. But without modern DNA testing, every theory fizzled. The case went cold, though one small vial of preserved evidence sat frozen in a crime lab freezer, waiting for the day science could speak for Mandy. By now, we know the medical examiner's findings. Mandy was raped and drowned with no sign of a struggle. Her killer was calm, controlled, and familiar with her route. So let's walk through the major suspects that haunted this case for decades, and you can decide who you think did it. Number 1, the passing motorist. So a witness with a dark pickup truck saw Mandy run past him on the side of the road that he was turning out of, along Strand Road, near where Mandy ran. The tire impressions found nearby were close to matching his truck, but not identical to the driver's. Could this have been a random crime? Possibly. Number 2 is the local farmhand. He was known to drink and act erratically, be involved with illegal activities. He had been seen watching Mandy before. Police questioned him, took his DNA, and searched his property. His impulsive, sloppy nature didn't fit the clean, calculated manner of Mandy's killer, though. Number 3, the local drifter, the wanderer. He was always lurking around town. Everyone did know his name. A sketch was made of him and posted around town, and a warrant went out to collect his DNA, and he cooperated. Number 4 is the boyfriend. He was heartbroken and cooperative. He joined searches, he attended vigils, and he spoke openly to the detectives. The medical examiner's findings ruled out a crime of rage. There was no evidence of a violent outburst. And then number 5, the neighbor. He lived less than a mile away. His house sat right along Mandy's jogging route. He claimed he barely knew her, though, although they'd ridden the same school bus for years. His timeline didn't quite line up, but there was nothing concrete. Still, police made a note. Keep an eye on him. Over 20 years later, in 2013, cold case detectives reopened Mandy's file. This time, they had new technology, forensic DNA profiling. When they retested the preserved evidence, they developed a perfect DNA profile. The problem was it didn't match anyone that they had collected from. Then 2 things happened. When detectives visited the neighbor and asked for a voluntary DNA sample, he refused, something no other suspect had done. That refusal lit a fire under investigators, and he became their number 1 suspect. Around the same time, 2 women were spending the day together at a water park, and Mandy's name came up. The 2 shared stories with each other that would help turn this case. One of the women was around 15 years old, about 6 months before Mandy's murder. She was at a softball game, a bunch of friends and other kids, and they all piled into a vehicle to head to go get ice cream. One of the people in the car was the 21-year-old neighbor that they are now looking into for this crime. So this was back in 1989, 6 months before her murder. This 15-year-old girl was scrunched in the car near this neighbor, and he was just being creepy with her, taking a pen out of the glove box and running it up and down her leg and just being too touchy-feeling and just creeped her out. So she brought that up to her friend at the water park. And then the other friend said that years after the murder, she was home alone. She was a married woman at this point. Her husband knew the neighbor, that is the suspect in this case. And this neighbor guy knocked on this woman's door and asked to use the telephone. And since she thought he was a friend of her husband, she let him in. He went to go use the phone, and she could hear that he really hadn't called anybody. She could still hear the telephone signal, like he was pretending to call somebody. So that freaked her out. And then she was even more disturbed when he walked towards her bedroom and saying that he had always loved her and he wanted to be intimate with her right then and there. And he only left because she was threatening to call the police. So he did leave and nothing happened to her. But both the women told each other, I know who killed Mandy, and they both said the same neighbor's name. So because they had both spoke to each other, they were now emboldened to go to the police to make a report together. So they did go into the police department and share their stories. And now the police were even more motivated to get evidence against this neighbor person. So they had to get creative. So Tim Bass is the neighbor's name. And Tim Bass worked at a local bakery. And the detectives were trying to follow him and follow his route, waiting for him to discard something because they have the DNA profile. They just need to be able to match it. And he was refusing to turn over his DNA. He never discarded anything on the route. So then the police went to the bakery and asked if they could swab the delivery trucks. And they weren't saying why. They were told you need to go through the corporate office, and the corporate office told them no. So a female coworker of Tim Bass noticed what the police detectives were trying to do. And she flat out asked them, you're trying to collect DNA, aren't you? And the officer did confirm that. So all on her own, she set out to help. So she would watch in the break room, waiting for Tim Bass to throw anything away that might have his DNA on it. And she was able to collect a cup, a plastic cup that he had been drinking water out of, and a soda can. And she collected those and turned them over to the police. They were sent for testing, and the results came back that it was a perfect DNA match. So after 3 decades, Mandy's killer was finally unmasked. Tim Bass, the quiet, awkward neighbor, was arrested at his home without incident. He denied knowing Mandy well. He denied everything. When the DNA matched and he was confronted with that, he did end up changing his story several times, from I didn't know her at all to, oh yes, I knew her. Oh, then we had a relationship, because they had found his semen. In 2017, Tim Bass was arrested and charged with kidnapping, rape, and murder. At trial, prosecutors told a story of obsession and opportunity. Bass had likely spotted Mandy jogging and... Oh, we got to interrupt for that. Thank you, Dago. 5 of you just turned green. So if you're in here and you got a membership, please thank Dago. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. That's so kind of you. Thank you. Acted on a violent impulse. The DNA evidence was unshakable, a 1 in 11 quadrillion match. In 2019, Tim Bass was convicted and sentenced to life in prison without parole. Mandy's mother, Mary, finally faced her daughter's killer. In court, she said she had waited 30 years for justice and that Mandy's spirit could finally rest. For the people of Acme, it was a bittersweet closure. The killer wasn't a stranger passing through. He'd been there all along, watching, blending in, pretending to care. But in the end, Mandy's story didn't vanish in the river that day. It lived on through her mother's fight for justice, through the detectives who never gave up, and through the science that finally gave her a voice. And there's those disclaimers again. Oh, I'm learning about that as I go. The last time I made this video, I made it all myself and I used all the elements that are in. I just used the free Clipchamp editor to do all of this, and I pay for it. Everything's supposed to be free. There's nothing that says anything's copyrighted or anything like that, but apparently YouTube's very strict, so trying to avoid that this time. We will see. We will see. Yeah, so some of you were familiar with that case, so thanks for listening to it again. And I just think it's fun, if we're going to listen to a case, I'm trying to point out the suspects and see if we can figure out who did it if we're not familiar with the case. But I just thought the medical examiner in this case went a little bit further than what we might normally see. So yeah, she did the cause and manner of death. She had to do a little bit of investigative work to determine that she was not deceased before entering the water. There was water in her lungs. She was able to determine that she had an abrasion or a lump or some injury on her head. And so when you're the medical examiner, you have to use the clues, use the evidence, and come up with your own assumption that you're going to testify as the medical examiner based on what I'm seeing. Here's what I think. And so the key thing though was that she looked at those scratches on Mandy's legs, and she didn't just write in a report, oh, there were scratches on the legs. Like we can say with Ethan's report, we heard how did they describe them? Did they use the word carving? Did they use the word scratched, cut? We're going to look at it. We'll look at what they said, but she didn't stop there. This medical examiner, she did some investigating or hypothesizing on her own what could have made those marks. She used the location of where the victim was. The area had thorn bushes. And so she used her knowledge and put that together with the evidence and said she was probably running away. And oh my gosh, how tragic that girl was able to run. She was in great shape, I'm sure she could have she had a good chance to try to possibly outrun that guy. But then so it seemed like the medical examiner was able to find out exactly what happened to her. She ran away. She got caught. He hit her on the head. She fell in the water and drowned. So all that matched what the medical examiner found. Yeah, the experimental injuries. Yeah, right. All right, I'm going to drop the link for you, Dago, if you want to come up. And I have some things I'm going to pull up about the medical examiner and the coroner and things like that. Let's see if I do this right. And then what do I do? I'll leave it there and then I'll pin it. How many of you had heard of that case before? No, I think I'll leave it like that. I think I will leave it like that. There he is. Hello.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm great.
Good.
I'm great. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I wanted to stay on your show yesterday longer, but it's just been crazy around here we had a lot going on Halloween.
I
weekend and
fully
all that
understand.
stuff.
I do.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time whenever you do come up. I really do.
You guys were talking about the DNA stuff.
You were asking some really good questions too. I like that.
What's up?
You were asking some very interesting, some very good questions too about the whole DNA thing and the sheath and all that. I really like that when you guys interact like that.
Yeah, I take full advantage. Lucy always laughs at me because I'll just like ask even people in the chat. I'm like, "What's this? Where's this?"
Hmm. That's why I love
That's
Lucy.
funny.
She's like an encyclopedia. I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Use
yeah,
the knowledge.
you were asking the perfect questions and I stuff that I wanted to know myself. Because like I said, with especially with Annie, um, the DNA or the blood science and all that stuff, the pathology. I don't know a lot about that stuff and how they did all that. So I was like curious, just like you were. I just didn't have to ask the questions you were doing for me. So
I'm curious. Well, what do you think about like I know that's what, I always say like you bigger creators that have
not
been
me.
doing this longer,
I get it.
I don't have the especially like Lana, like she's just plowing through everything with
Yes,
all the documents and I'm like I'm just not going to be able to do that, but I've been focused on this medical examiner. Like, I
yeah.
want to see, besides the interviews,
Hmm.
besides all the other evidence, that autopsy report could really paint a picture of what happened to these kids.
I agree.
And that's like square one,
Yes, yes.
like she should be able to tell an approximate time of death. And
She
it
should be able to
shouldn't
tell. Listen, I have to. You're right, and in my opinion, based on my experience, okay, they should be able to tell an exact, not exact, but almost exact time of death. That's a problem for me because I know that there was a lengthy period of time before they got to the victims, but I've dealt with that myself. I know for a fact I've been to scenes where people have died 3 months beforehand, and they could tell that. Okay. So
exactly.
there's no excuse other than the conspiracy side to it. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that makes sense with this. They could have done a liver temperature test. They could have
Mhm.
done there's something else I can't think of it right now. I saw something test. I can't think right now. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But there's multiple ways to tell this. And for her to call it noon when PD arrived just blows the whole thing. I'm sorry, but you're either, yeah, like Rose just said, you're either being lazy or you were told something. And that's the only way I can see it at this point.
So I keep getting confused because my understanding, and I think we've probably even talked about this on your show too,
Hmm.
about coroners versus medical examiners. And I see people in chat get confused with it all the time.
Two different things. Yes.
But it's more confusing than I thought it was going to be. Like I thought there was a clear distinction. Like you and I talked in Ohio here, like the coroner is just somebody elected and you don't have to have a medical background and you basically just show up and declare, yes, there's been a death.
Hmm.
I always thought they had to get there. Like the police couldn't do anything until they came and kind of like cleared it. Like,
Well,
yes.
to some extent, like here, I know for instance, any scene I've ever been on, we could never move the bodies until the coroner declared it. Period. That was just what it was. Um, Now, like for instance, here in Trumbull County is the county I live in Ohio. Okay, I mean you're obviously that you're pretty close to me.
Right.
I mean the different counties and stuff. Everybody else may not, but we had forever Doctor. Jesus, I can't think of his last name, but he was a doctor and he was the coroner. Now there are some instances where the coroner is the ME as well. I've seen that happen here in Ohio, where they're the coroner and the medical examiner.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of situations that's not true. Okay, but here, for instance, God damn it, my mother worked with him at the hospital too, and I can't think of his name, but he was the coroner for Trumbull County forever, and then he passed away. Anyway, but he did both. He did the autopsies, he did everything. He would come to the scene, he would call the situation, and so on and so forth. And then we would take most of our victims or patients to what used to be called Trumbull Memorial Hospital, and they had the morgue. And he, God bless America, it's going to drive me nuts. He would be there or go there, perform the autopsies, give the results, and then we would retransport, or the funeral homes would pick them up or whatever. But I'm gonna have to call my mother and ask her at some point what his name was. But anyway, he did both. Now, I have not seen in a lot of cases that I've covered where we have a coroner and ME that are the same person. Okay. They sent these kids to Spokane for their autopsies for a completely different person. She has a
Yep.
foreign last
Venus
name. I
Singh.
can't think. What's that?
Her name's Venus Singh.
There you go. Yeah, Dr. Singh. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, so when I started covering true crime, it was odd to me to not see the coroner not be able to do this stuff. I didn't know that, you know what I mean? When it had to be the ME that had to do the autopsies, it had to call this, call that. So I was a little lost when we first jumped into this case with that whole thing. I still think it's odd, but like, I think that the coroner should be a doctor, should have a medical background, all that kind of stuff. But we know now that you don't have to in this case. But I think that it's a problem. It's a big problem that this was not. I think it would tell the story of possibly what could tell the story of what happened to these kids, or these young adults. I should say that. I'm sorry. If they would have done a time of death and a true to form, what I call a true to form standard autopsy. I don't believe they did that in this case. It's weird, but just saying.
I know that the only people that can see the autopsy report is family.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like law.
Yeah.
But we should be able to see, like, it's unfortunate that it didn't go to trial, because I think there would have been more documentation. Like if she would have had to file some type of, what are those called? Not an affidavit, but their official statement.
The official statement from, yeah. And we would also got the, which I've been complaining about. I think you were on the show a couple times when I've complained about us not getting the diagram, the autopsy diagram that shows like the sketch or the drawing of the body. And it shows on each point of the body where the damage was, where the injuries were throughout that. And it details different things. We get that in almost every case I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
They did not put that out for this one. I think Senior Wazowski with his channel, he did kind of a thing like that where he pointed out all the injuries and the bruising and all this other stuff.
Yes.
That would help us to understand better. I don't need to see, I mean, I'm that person because I have a medical background, the actual physical body to see what happened. That's interesting to me, not because I'm gross or weird, because I'm interested. I have that interest and I'd like to see to understand what happened. But at least that sketch would tell us a story and make us understand, because reading words and a description does not do enough for me, in my opinion.
No, I would like to see stomach contents. They can tell a lot from that,
Yes.
That would help a lot with time of death.
Yes.
They, because digestion stops. Right? When your body stops, whatever stage that food was in your body, that's going to give a really good indication.
Yes.
They really should have done something with the weapon, especially that one where they say it's rounded and stripes, and there should be at least a hypothesis of like a few, maybe, she could say, well, this or this or something.
It could have, yeah. I agree. Yes. It could have been this. It could have been that. It could have been a sickle. It could have been a K-bar. It could have been a machete. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that too.
So what I pulled up here on the screen is talking about the coroners and medical examiners in different states. Let me find where is this on my side now? Here it is. Okay. I think I can make it bigger. So in Idaho, where it's yellow, let's see, it says they only have coroner offices. So that would
Okay.
make sense of why they had to get Washington, who's green. They have county medical examiners.
Right.
Oh, no, wait. It says statewide medical examiners.
Statewide.
Yes. So
Interesting.
that would be why they had to use that. Now, I think it just makes it convoluted because they have to communicate with each other, and we all know what happens when
Absolutely.
things
Absolutely.
get lost in translation or
Now there is a difference too. Let me throw that out there too, between like a standard, like somebody just passes away and a homicide. Okay. There's a specific ruling that has to be done, and there's specific testing that has to be done, and it has to be done by a specific type person. So yeah, see, Idaho's different than here. So that's something else I want to throw out there for everybody that didn't know that they have to, like, say for instance, somebody passes away of natural causes in their sleep or something. They don't have to do an autopsy. You can request it. You know what I mean? But when there's like a homicide, they have to. That's the difference. So
yeah.
Sorry, I know I ramble sometimes. I just wanted to throw that in there so that's understood too.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm trying to pull. There it is. Okay, so here is what they gave us. I don't know if I added it. Oh, I did.
I see it. DeCoon, coroner assistant here, drug a body down the stairs. Pretty sure he got fired. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I can imagine. Lord.
What was that?
The T-Coon said that the coroner's assistant there, wherever they're at, drug a body down the stairs. Pretty sure they got fired. Yeah, you can't do that.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my gosh, that's horrific.
Yeah.
And hello, T-Coon. It's nice to see you. Welcome.
That's insane. I mean, if you can't move it, then you wait for somebody there that can. That's why they have people like what I did, to move it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I just wanted to say hi to James real quick. Hello. Who else did I see in here?
James is awesome.
Ken Jr. Hello, Beach Babe. All right. Okay, so I'm not going to read this whole thing, but there was this part, where after she goes through everything that was collected, there's the prints. So she did say that she was with Tolson.
Yeah, he was there.
There.
I think there was 3, maybe 4 people besides her that were there, which I still find odd, but either way, but Tolson was definitely one.
Yeah. All right. Let me just start up here where the narrative is. So, yep, there's the lists and then the narrative. Okay. So, as part of the autopsies, major prints were taken. All right. Prints. This is just what the cops are saying. Prints. At the conclusion of the 4 autopsies, Dr. Veena Singh met with Kathy Mabbitt. See, so then she has to meet with the coroner.
Right.
So that's why it's just like,
it's weird.
I don't know why they would decide to have Mabbitt be the spokesperson, because things just get lost in translation. Things can get twisted.
Yeah, and I think it's because I said this before, I think because Mabbitt is part of their circle. Okay. Like they have a specific group of people that work together, I think, and that know the ways of their laws and their community. And I think Mabbitt's that person. So
Tolson was also there, and Danny Vargas.
Was Gunnarsson there too, or no?
No, it just says
just Vargas.
Singh, Mabbitt, and Vargas. because
Okay,
it
so
kept saying "and I," so I'm like, "Who's I?"
okay, that's right then.
Um,
Who wrote the report?
Vargas.
Vargas. Okay, so that makes sense.
Yes. So all she's gonna tell us is that Ethan Chapin's fatal injury was from a stab wound under his left clavicle,
Hmm.
and then the arteries and the veins and the jugular. And all they're saying is it's a sharp force injury. She did say somewhere that it wasn't here it is. The weapon was not serrated. How
Right.
common is that for K-bars? Are they usually serrated or not?
They sell both. They have one that's serrated that has like the saw side to it, and then they have the one that's just the blade, the blunt end. Yes, they
And
sell them
are they
both.
always that's single-edged?
Yeah, they do sell double edged. I did a whole thing on the knives and looked them up and all that, but they do sell a double edged and a single edged.
Okay. I mean,
Standard, I believe, is single edged.
I'm so now this is just the police. That's what I'm saying. That's like my point. This is just the police writing up what they were told or whatever from and we need to see more.
I agree. Yes, ma'am. Way more. There needs to be more depth to it and more detail, in my opinion, to explain certain things. Like there was, for instance, in the newer stuff, I think Madison, there was a statement in that grid. Do you remember? Were you there when I brought up that grid from the newer stuff and it showed the different injuries for each person? It's kind of a blocked thing, and it
I believe
showed.
so. I think so.
Okay, it showed something about like Madison, that there was a specific type of wound or injury to her breast area on her chest. Things like that should be detailed, because with the whole, especially now with the whole statement of the experimental injuries being put out there, it can tell a story by itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like the carving on Ethan's legs and whatever that wound or injury was to Madison's chest, and things that were done to Kaylee's face, all of that stuff, it describes the murder. Sorry, the unaliving. I'm sorry, this is not my
You're
channel.
fine. I just say the words usually.
Okay, well, not everybody does that, but I just didn't want to get you in trouble. But it would describe the injuries and tell a story about the crime itself more, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Well, I think everybody on here is doing a fabulous job doing that,
Right.
trying
Yeah.
to figure out the true story that makes the most sense based on what we're seeing. You can do that with the blood, like
Right.
Miss Potts got us on that path, and Lana with the blood expert she had on, and you
Yes.
can tell, and it's making us change thinking a little bit. Like when we were looking at how the blood looked more dried in one room.
Yep.
Was it in Maddie and Kaylee's room that it looked more dried?
Yeah, and then in Dana and Ethan area, it looked very new and recent. So yeah, which is
Mhm.
that's a big deal, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
And now looking at that footage that Christy put out with the grub truck and the car that they're getting into. I mean, we're able to see all that stuff, but the missing piece is going to be that exact, like, oh, we'd be so further if we knew like time of death, and
That would be a big one. A true time of death would make all the difference in the world. And I think, as I said last night, I think that the Q 1.4 is the answer to the case, in my opinion.
oh yeah, because that has the unknown male DNA, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I think that would give us the answers we need.
So when I first started the live, Brooke was talking about in that Moscow police report, number 77, and I've been reading them in batches. I'm still on the Moscow report.
That's okay. There's a lot. There's a lot.
But it has been it helps me digest them better. I'm just going 10 at a time. But that report number 77, where they had that guy that was out at the campground the campsite, and the guy pulled the knife, and then he said, "I hid in the girl's house,"
Oh yeah,
and
the guy that had
he
the
has
knife.
that weird mom.
Yes, that's the one that had the knives in the wood pile, and the mom was living in the shed or staying in the shed or something.
Do we know where that is?
I don't. I do not. I'd like to know that myself.
I want Bubbly's usually the one that figures out all the initials and the names. Like, I
Yes.
wonder because I think the mom. So I'm really interested. Besides with the guy with the knives, and he's the one that said I snuck into the girl's house and was
Mhm.
in there. I mean, yes, there's always a chance that's not true, but
Right. But still, it's interesting.
yeah. But the moms and sorry, I switched topics. We'll get back
Oh,
to
no. I do it all the time. You're fine. There's too much to talk about.
Yeah. Her initials were LM, and it she's the reason that kid, her son, he like has the grudge.
Mhm.
He gets angry and goes and walks around the campus at night.
Yep.
Claims he was in the house, has knives, has them stashed. But and when he was saying that the mom would like, it seemed like they crashed, like they would just crash at people's houses. And
Yes.
that's common in college. Like, I mean, I've done it. I've had people
Yeah.
stay,
Yeah.
sometimes you know them real well. Sometimes you don't.
Absolutely.
But I have this gut feeling, and this is just total speculation. This is just me totally thinking.
Mhm.
Did Dylan say that the person she brought home with her to watch the show wasn't her initials L? Didn't it start with an L?
Yeah, her name was
But we know who she is.
yes. I have her whole name. I just can't think of it right now. And it's not the
Okay.
same person because I did the same thing you did at first. I'm like, wait a minute. But this
And
is
it's
a
not.
younger person, I believe. They didn't, there were no details on that, but yeah, it's the same initials, and it caught my attention too.
Are they the same initials?
Yeah, I believe it is because the girl that was there watching Vampire Diaries with Dylan until Bethany came home was LM, and I'm trying to think of the last name.
I'm pretty sure it's LM in that
It is.
report.
It is. I do agree with you. I
Oh,
believe.
that's too much of a coincidence.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And it could be. It
Oh.
could be. I mean, I think we automatically think because these girls are younger that anybody they'd be friends with would be the same age, but that doesn't mean anything, you guys. It doesn't.
Oh, no. I mean, I had friends in college that, like, worked at bars and, were
Yeah.
friendly with the owners, and you
Yeah.
just meet different people through different
Absolutely.
scenarios. Okay, well, that's something to
McCoskey. Her last name's McCoskey, the one that was at the house with Dylan. That's it.
Husky.
And I don't know. I don't think it's Lauren. I think I can't. Oh, Jesus. Something McCoskey is her last name.
Okay. All right. Someone was asking Jenna. No, Jenna's McClure, right? Jenna McClure. And she was
Yeah.
there with, she's the one that Bethany was communicating with.
Yes.
LM and the Vampire Diaries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. All right. So I was trying to pull up some more. Wait, I already opened it. Where did it go? Here. Okay. So there was a report from Fox 13, and it said that the former medical examiner, they had a former medical examiner disputing the coroner's toxicology. Remember when Mabbitt said, well, the toxicology is not going to matter anyways?
Yep.
That part of it.
I always thought that was ridiculous.
Yeah. So this person was just saying that there's literally hundreds of drugs that you could look for.
Yep.
Certain drugs are used in Washington versus Idaho. I thought that was interesting. So it would give clues of like where things might have come from.
Right.
That's interesting.
Very much so. And I knowing that there was a powder substance found with a rolled up $2 bill in Xana's room absolutely means that the toxicology report is more important than you would think it is. Okay. So, it definitely has reasons to be looked at.
Yeah. Okay, so this guy is criticizing Mabbott. Have you seen or heard of this?
No, I haven't actually. I'm interested.
So he said, urine, blood, and stomach contents are often tested as part of a toxicology report. His last name's Baden. Maybe one of the victims had their food spiked. He said this would be a significant piece of evidence.
Wow.
He described the system of using coroners in parts of the United States as an archaic relic from British colonial rule.
Mhm.
And I actually saw that when I was doing some research on this, and it is that old.
It is,
Like
yeah.
that old. And both systems were adopted. The coroner system, I believe, was first, and then the medical
Yes.
examiner part of
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Was it Michael Baden? Is that the name of the person?
It might be. Let me see.
Yeah, you're right.
Um,
If not, no big
I'm
deal.
looking at an ad for glucose. So
Yeah, I was curious because I do know that name, and I saw they put that in the chat.
So Rebecca Rosenberg wrote the article,
Mhm.
and where do they say his name? Michael Baden. Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
Dr.
he's
Michael
very
Baden.
good at what
The
he does.
chat always knows, don't they? They always know.
They do. They do. And he's very well known, and he's very good at what he does. So him making that statement, that means a lot to me.
Oh my goodness. Then they checked with Mark Furman. Oh no. They were attacked with a knife and they basically bled to death. Toxicology wouldn't affect that no matter what they ingested, Furman said. I'd put my money on there being. Oh, and then Furman said, I'd put my money on there being alcohol in all 4 victims' systems. What conclusions can you draw from that? And Furman was criticizing Mabbott for sharing the details of the autopsy with the victims' families. We all knew that. And then
Right.
Furman said she should stop talking.
I remember that statement. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, she's never
all
done an
people.
autopsy. She doesn't understand the value of the autopsy information to police. She should not have talked to anybody about the injuries of any of the victims.
They're
We're
not
lucky she did, but
they're not supposed to during and in the midst of an investigation. So that's probably why they shut her down and we never heard from her again.
yeah.
She was probably threatened. And Furman, of all people, to oh my God, of all people to talk about somebody, he's got room. I'll tell you that much.
Yep. Yeah, that was crazy. I got
The
another
glove
one.
don't fit. You must have quit.
What did they say?
I just went back to the OJ thing. If the glove don't fit, you must have quit.
Oh,
Wasn't
right.
really his glove.
I know. So here's the responsibilities of what the medical examiner is supposed to do. Let me stop this. Whoops. I don't know. Where'd it go?
Don't feel bad because I go through the same things every
I
day.
just hate that you have to stop sharing and then reshare.
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
it just switch?
It's irritating, isn't it?
Can it just switch?
Take it down. Take one down, put the other up. Take it down, put the other up. It's a pain in the ass. It really is. There you go.
Is it showing? There it is.
Yep.
And then when you have a million tabs up, you have to remember which tab it is.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They all look the same.
It is crazy because how many times have I been live and I've shut myself out of the stream or shut the whole thing down because I clicked the wrong tab. So I just stopped.
I did
clicking
that
them.
once. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that once. Okay, so here is what, according to Spokane, their medical examiner should do. Of course, determine the cause and manner of death. Ensure the integrity of personal property. Exonerate the innocent. Ooh, that's interesting. That's like bullet number 3.
Quite
Collect
interesting.
evidence. Perform investigations at the scene of death. I've seen this at probably like 4 different documents where they can go to the scene, like they talk about. That's part of their responsibility.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We talked about that one case where that nightclub, they had so many kids that perished in that nightclub over, I forget what city it was in, Boston or I don't know, somewhere over there. And that medical examiner stated she wanted to go, but it was like so overwhelming because she felt she got in trouble for it. That's what it was.
Right.
And because people were like, kind of calling her out, like, you didn't do your job. And she's like, well, we were preparing for an incoming of a massive amount of bodies. And so like she sent an assistant. So I would think in this case, it would call for going to the scene.
Sure.
Not just the non-medical Kathy Mabbitt.
I do agree.
Who doesn't know what she's doing, right? This one has a video down below. Let me see what I gotta always be careful though. I'm afraid now to click on anything that's a video.
I don't know.
Let me see.
This is out from the county, right? I think you'd be okay there.
Linked to YouTube.
Yeah, I think you'd be all right with that one.
Probably an ad.
Always. Oh yeah, you'll be okay.
Hello and welcome to Spokane County Spotlight. I'm Commissioner Al French, and my guest today is Dr. Veena Singh, Spokane County's Chief Medical Examiner. Dr. Singh, welcome to the program.
Thank you for inviting me to be here.
Before we get started, Dr. Singh, for the benefit of our audience, could you give us an overview of yourself and your background?
Yeah, so I attended medical school in my hometown, Portland, Oregon. I graduated medical school with a medical degree and also a master's degree in public health. After medical school, I spent 2 years of specialty training at Swedish Medical Center in Seattle. And then I moved to Albuquerque for specialty training in pathology and subspecialty training in forensic pathology. And since finishing my training, I have been working as a forensic pathologist in medical examiners' offices in Arizona, New Mexico, Minnesota, and now here in Washington.
Wow, that's quite a path to get to the...
So that's interesting because I'm telling you, I have been scouring to find. I wanted to see how she writes a report, or is there an example of a report, or is there a clip of her testifying in court?
Right.
I can't find one.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's really
Especially
interesting.
when she said, well, now I'm going to go back and jot down those states now that I know where she was, but
right.
I don't know.
She would have, I imagine she would have had to have testified in this case if it would have went to court for sure.
Exactly. And you would think there would be I'm hoping there's some written report from her. They have to have it.
Yeah, they do. I agree with that. And I can't imagine that they would have had Mabbitt testify to what Singh did. That would make no sense. So that could be, Brooke. That could be.
Already scrubbed it. Was scrubbed what?
They scrubbed off all the information that she would have put out, possibly, because they have done that in this case for sure.
Ugh.
Things that they don't want people to see.
And in the past couple cases that's what I'm doing on Mondays is I'm trying to find these interesting, other cases and pull something out of it to connect to Idaho 4.
Yeah. And it was
in
great.
Both cases, it took someone to come forward. Someone who knew something
Mhm.
to just start speaking. And I just
Absolutely.
can't believe there isn't anybody.
Well, I I agree with you that there should have been somebody in this case, like every other case I've ever covered, where there is, I guess, what you could say a conspiratorial situation maybe going on. Somebody at some point does step forward and say something.
Mhm.
Nobody has come forward in this case. That's kind of scary. That kind of tells me something is definitely wrong, in my opinion, and that there's a reason why that's not happening.
And then especially when you go back and look at so who came forward? WSU Mom Kim,
Mhm.
that Dave guy,
Yeah,
David,
and
or Dave, whatever his name was.
yeah, the frat guy, right?
Um,
Dot. If you count that, I'll say that.
I
Um,
know. And Enon.
it right, and Enan, I think Enan inserted himself just because he likes the attention, I think. But I Brooke just made a statement that I was going to make myself, and I think that it was very plausible that there could have. I don't know about taking him out, but I think people were warned. I'll put it that way. And or threatened that if you say something about this, that, or anything else, that you're going to have an issue. You know what I mean?
For sure. For sure.
That's
It-
where I'm at with that. That's
I
why I think nobody ever did step forward.
I think that's why Bethany won't go back.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed.
Yeah. I know the whole Dot thing. Like, I'm very thankful that I was there from the beginning
Yes.
to witness. Like, I was in that show with you and CJ and
Hmm.
doing the questions and all of that. And I saw where she first came from on TikTok and
Right.
all of that. So yeah, it's hard to
My question with this now, though, is since Birdie did that new interview with her and she came forth instead, and I even left that comment with Birdie, and she said that she was speaking for somebody else because they were afraid to, so on and so forth. You made the mistake of lying in the beginning. Therefore, in turn, people are not going to believe what you say now. And I said, I wish that she would have made that statement to me and CJ in the very beginning. It would have made
Mhm.
things way different, possibly.
Mhm, mhm.
Because some of the stuff I told you guys when I did that secondary show not too long ago, some of the stuff she stated, I am very interested in knowing how she knows that. And I even said maybe she was talking for somebody else and making that statement. You know what I mean? And it's like I don't know what to believe now because you lied in the beginning. So
Exactly. And I can forgive that, but
sure.
I was always under the assumption that that person had done it with other cases.
Well, and that's the problem. She did on TikTok other things like that too. And it's like that's what makes it hard to believe that you're what you claimed to Birdie that you
Right.
did this for somebody else, but you've done this how many other times in other situations? You know what I mean?
But I haven't seen evidence of that.
Me either. Me either.
So,
Other than somebody telling us.
right. Right. So, yeah, I was not there for any of that. So, now that would be a solid for me. Like if
It-
it was done in other cases, then I would be like, probably don't believe it.
Sure, and you can
Um,
show us proof, then let's go there. But if not, I can't, you know how I am. I can't take that as a verified point.
mhm, mhm. I'm not going to keep showing this video because it's just her talking about the wonderful facility that they have in
Right.
Spokane, Washington, and just the work that she does and everything. But I just wanted to show her because we don't really see or hear from her very much.
You gotta
and
wonder why. I
I
swear to you guys, I don't like conspiracy things. I don't. I never did. I can't. With this case, though, I mean, everything that has happened, you have to step back and go, well, okay, now what? You know what I mean? It's with everything. Every time we turn the corner, there's something crazy happening. Every
Mhm.
time.
I think my husband thinks I've completely lost it because we debate on our show and we do our shows together,
Mhm.
And I have not been able to do it lately because first of all, there's been such an inundation of everything all at once. I
Yeah.
can't like have my points ready to go to to contradict him.
Agreed. Agreed. It's hard.
And he's just sticking to the fact of, it's the car and it's the knife and it's the sheath
I get it. I
and he
do.
said he did it.
So be it. So be it. I respect that. I do, because if I was not who I was, and if I wasn't so particular and I didn't look at everything, I'd probably be that person too, So I get it.
Yeah, but this is crazy.
It is.
I gotta go watch that Birdie video with Dot because I did not see that one.
Okay, so yeah, it's interesting. She explains why. She goes back and explains all these things. She tells the same story, and Birdie does make a point. Like, she's been consistent to some extent with most everything. And Dockett put a video out about that, as we all know. He came up with something not too long ago, last week, I think it was, and said that he came on my show when we were reviewing his video and said that he doesn't think, but now that she's admitted to it, he didn't think at that point that she was speaking for somebody else. And see, I think CJ and I, between ourselves, said maybe she's talking for somebody else. Kim came to me multiple times and said that she thought that as well. Then they started talking. She said she was terrified. Dot was terrified, or the person that Dot was speaking for was terrified. There were no clear lines with that. So I always wondered, and I, like you said, there's no proof that this actually happened with other cases in the past. So is it true? I don't know. I'm not going to call that, I find it hard to believe, but I'm not going to say that she's lying. I can't do that at this point because of what she just stated. So yeah, it's a good idea to watch it. It is.
I would hope that if does she go by they? I don't know.
I don't even know at this point.
Her pronouns.
I just call her Dot.
If Dot is willing to come out and speak themselves, I would urge, if you're listening out there, to try to get somebody else to come out that also knows the same information. Like,
Yes.
we need more people.
Yep.
Just like in that case that I was just sharing, just two friends happened to be like talking and realizing, oh my gosh, we kind of had the same experience and we both have the same information. Let's be together. There's more power in numbers, and do something about it. I would hope for that. We need that. This case needs that.
Yeah. Yeah. If there was somebody, I agree with you. If somebody else would step forward and could name some of the same things that Dot has stated, I think it would give some more validity to the situation. I truly do.
So Jeff, slow to say Dot is lying, but are we slow to say Dylan is lying? So we called Dot out like harshly back in the day. I mean, I didn't have anything to do with it, but other people did. I feel like the community as a whole on here on YouTube is very I think everybody does a good job trying to be careful with their information. There's not a whole lot of people, and I feel like the channels that do that are known.
Right. No, agreed. And with that statement to Jeff, it's been proven that both people have lied. That's the thing. Okay. There's proof that Dylan has lied about things, and Dot herself admitted to lying. So, I mean, you got to take it for what it is. That's as far as that's my how I feel about that statement.
And I feel like with Dylan, if you looked at it and we believed her the first time, then it changed. Then you believe again, and then it changed, and then you believe again, and then it changed. So now it's like, okay, well then what's
the boy who cried wolf, right?
And was she lying or were the police writing it wrong? And then was she being told? So there's all, it's not cut and dry. It's not simple.
No, not
Yeah.
at all. And that's the thing is I've seen so many what would be called guilters per se, and I'm not attacking when I say this, but so many of them say that this is cut and dry, black and white, Occam's razor, blah blah blah. But no, it's not. It's not even remotely close to that.
Yeah.
There's too many different angles, too many things that have been proven to be, like you just said, multiple stories that have come out and changed 3 different ways. The initial probable cause affidavit doesn't even exist anymore. And for that to happen is a problem in any kind of a murder case. That PCA is an important piece of paper. How does it it doesn't exist anymore? Nothing in that is true anymore. So
Mhm.
it's just crazy, it's absolutely crazy.
So I'm just going to address Jeff real quick again. Jeff, I understand because he's like talking to my husband.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I hear it at home, Jeff. Dylan, he said knows what the underside of the bus looks like, and that she's trying. Oh, is she trying to remember the night before, or is she the girl who cried wolf? Or I'm just gonna say we didn't know that she heard screaming at first. All we knew is that she saw bushy eyebrows. Like that's all we were told, right? And she was in
She
a
denied.
frozen shock phase.
Yeah.
So I feel like people were justified in saying, don't judge her at that point.
At that
Don't
point.
judge her because we don't know.
That's
Fair?
right. Yes, ma'am. I was 100% on board with that back then.
Right. Then we come to find out, oh no, she was awake and she was communicating and she heard running up and down the steps and screaming and I'm here to help you, and a guy in dark clothing walking towards her, and a roommate passed out on the floor. And I'm sorry, at that point you're held accountable. You're
Yeah.
held accountable for getting help for your roommates.
You have to be. You have to be.
So I'm just
And,
sticking by
and she claimed that they claimed that there was nothing heard. They heard nothing. And I mean nothing. And I called it from then. I said, okay, I'll give her that. Well, like I just said, I was on board. Did I believe it? No. Okay. And then she comes to the point now where we're at where she said, you hear everything in this house. Those were her own words.
Right.
So why did you not tell us that in the beginning?
I wish we
Right.
could have heard from more students that lived in that house, because that Dave guy, when Lana interviewed him, said it was, you could hear everything, like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
creaking floors and every noise. So
I wish there was a direct interview with Ashlyn Couch. I wish that there was a direct interview with the male. I can't remember his name that lived there the year before.
Mhm.
Anybody and everybody, we did see reports though. Everybody that's lived in that house has stated the same thing, that they had a bad feeling or a bad vibe when they were in that house. Okay. Why?
Mhm.
Let's talk more about that. Explain that kind of thing. Instead of just making a statement and leaving it lay. That's a problem, I agree with you. We should
Right.
hear more about that, truly.
Well, let me get that down. Yeah, the non-murdering sounds in the house. What were the non-murdering sounds in the house sounding like? I would think that it's just like with babies and pets, and the difference. Normal everyday sounds in your house. Listen, let me tell you guys what happened to me the other night. I was home alone and my power went out, and I happened to be walking past a bathroom that I have that has a really good lock on it. I went into that bathroom, locked the door, and stood there until the power came back on. Luckily, it was just an on and off real quick. Like, I don't play.
My wife is the same way. She really is.
And then I was frantically texting, hurry up and come home. I'm scared.
And then when the power goes out, everything becomes so silent. Okay.
Yeah.
You hear everything and anything, truly.
Yes. Yeah. That was my point, that the difference between, your baby's cries and your animal's whines and barks and
Yep.
the noises in your house and
Every bit of it. Yes.
Yep. All right, Jeff, we're gonna have to get Carlos back up on here so we can talk about some of these things on the other side. But are you going on today, Dago?
Yeah, I'll be going live here relatively soon after this.
I'm gonna wrap this up. I have to. I'm going slow. Like I've been making these videos, and I can't.
You're doing great.
Part of me is like, why am I doing this? Because it literally takes me like all day.
Yeah.
To get it done, but I also like it. So
And that's the thing is, if I don't have the patience, my ADHD, that's why I don't do pre-recorded stuff and put all these things. You did amazing, though. I mean, your read style is amazing and on point. Everything about it was great. I really was impressed.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Plus, I don't have the skills for the editing side to it either. I need to learn that. I really do.
Yeah, that has been a learning curve, but that's why I just use that Microsoft thing, Clipchamp it's called, because it's super easy. Like
that's
super,
what I need. Something that I
tried the complicated ones, and I was like, no way. Like to do the same thing, like it does the same thing, and it was just so complicated.
See, when you like the background to YouTube and all that, when you throw that screen up in front of me and it's got all these squares and you got to do this and do that, I'm like, I go into immediate panic mode and I just walk away. Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do and I'll screw it up. So
I know, I'm sorry, I don't have a very fancy background up here for us.
No, it's amazing. I agree with
just plain
Lori Daniels. You are very talented with this. You know what you're doing. You seem to, at least. I have no clue how you did what you did. It's great.
Oh, she's my best friend. We grew up together. Hi, Lori.
It's amazing.
But my point is, after that, I want to, like, I had a lot of stuff that I wanted to go over, like I'm not going to today, with the coroner and the medical examiner. And
yeah,
I can't, like, I got to put them in one spot so I know where they're at. Cause then I'm just looking for, do you have a trick for that?
I have, I have files, but I am the least organized person in the world. And it's not healthy because of my ADHD. I'm looking for things constantly. I have a crew of people for a reason. Mama Bear is very helpful. Molly's very helpful. Tomboy, they all help me in every aspect you could possibly imagine because they know that I don't have the ability to just be. Everything else in my life is organized, but this, let me put it that way.
To pull things up and have it like that. So.
I can find them, like all my files, but I'm not good at putting them there the right way. That's all I'm saying. So
I'm working on it. So that's what I want to get better at for the next time. But
yes.
Yeah. Thanks for coming up and talking with me.
Oh, absolutely. It's an honor for me to be up here with you. I love your show. I love how you do it. I think you're amazing with it. I'm very grateful to see you doing what you're doing too. I love seeing these all you guys that are deciding to start channels and do these things. I love it. I do.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I strive to be able to do lives like you do. But
don't, because you do way better than me. I think you do so much better than me. I do.
You got a great community over there, and I'm
grateful.
I love being a part of it. Awesome. All right, well, I will let you go, and I'll be over. We're all going to go over to Dago's in a little bit when he gets up.
Yeah, I will get it all set up here shortly. And again, it's been an honor. Thank you so much for having me. I really do enjoy it. Even when you're on my panel, I enjoy it so much. I love your questions and the way you approach it. It's great for all you guys. The day that we had you and I call her Fancy, but Nothing Half-Assed, and Lana show, that was a great show. I loved that show. I enjoyed it so very much. So
yeah, that was awesome.
Looking forward to more of those. But thank you again. I will get out of here, and so you can do your thing. And I appreciate you very much. Thanks again.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, everybody. Tomboy, there she is. Hello. Another green member in the chat. Lori, I hope you're having a great day. There were so many people in here that I saw you. William, Hello, William. And Ken Jr. I think I might have said hello earlier, but great to see you. Thank you for being here. Smiling Sleuth. That's the new name that I saw. Hello. Oh, and yes, Rory has resurfaced like on his original true crime channel. I know he started a new channel that was more about trafficking. But that would be interesting. I love Rory. He was always with Tommy Jude back in the day. Please keep Tommy in your prayers too. I know he's taken a little time off. All right. I am going to keep going through the documents. I did that really quick search to try to find. Oh, I know what I wanted to ask everybody. So, looking for the autopsy report, like if you just go into Google and you type in, autopsy report for Idaho murders or whatever, there is a site that comes up that says it's Africa CDC. And I'm like, what in the world is this? And I can't get it to open. Like I have to try on my computer. I was doing it on my phone. Like I couldn't get it to open. And I thought that was weird. Let me take 1 minute here and just see if I can show you what I'm talking about. Again, stop sharing, share screen. And we want to go to, oh geez, let me get the tab open first. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. And then we will call it a day. Idaho murders autopsy report. Oh my goodness. I go into like panic mode. I think I'm taking too long. I feel like I'm at school. Like when you're a teacher, if you take too long to do anything, you'll just lose all control of the class. So you have to have everything like boom, 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 ready to go. And if you don't, you're in so much trouble. Here it is. Okay, I found it. Not that I'm comparing you guys to students. It's just my feelings. When Dago's talking about like ADHD, I'm talking about anxiety, I think, like nervous feelings. Okay, now let me make it bigger. Maybe. I don't know if I can. Okay, there. So right here, I don't know if you can see my cursor or not. If I click on this link, it says Africa CDC, Idaho Murders Autopsy Report, September 21st, 2025. So this could be completely spam or something. I don't know, but it won't open. And then there's also a Reddit. So I don't know. I will just leave you with that, I guess. Someone try to get that tab open. Oh, the site can't be reached. All right. There you go. It's weird. Oh, you answered me about Rory. So Ro, you're saying, I don't believe he thinks he'd done it. I always thought Rory was on that track. No, in fact, I thought Rory was getting so close he had to like back away. Shut what down? I will go look for that for sure. I loved Rory when he was on his show. Okay, everybody, thanks for joining me today. If you have any suggestions for a crime case that you think would be good to share that has something that we could relate to the Idaho 4 case. Maybe it's the way, like last week I did the way the interviews were done, right? And we talked about the Reed technique and how they could have interviewed the people, in this case, Dylan, Hunter, Emily, everybody with using that technique. And to me, they failed using those steps. This week, I was trying to make the connection with the medical examiner. I don't think I did such a great job this week, but we'll get there. It's more interesting to just have someone on panel and to be able to talk about things anyways. So that's fine. But yeah, you can post comments below this video with ideas. You can email me. My email is linked in the bio or the description of the channel, whatever they call it on here. And please hit the thumbs up on your way out. Subscribe if you haven't. Consider becoming a member. I've been trying to post things and do some little things for our members. And I will see you guys Wednesday for my walk and talk, and be looking for some videos to also be coming out. All right. Have a fantastic week, everybody. And I'm sure I will see you later in the other chats as well. All right. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching, hope you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. Subscribe, it's free and keeps us going strong. You're part of the crew now, right where you belong. Join us next time, same truth, same fire. We bring the heat and never tire. We're typically unique and proud to be a husband and wife in podcast harmony. Ethically unique, yeah, that's you and me. Don't forget to like and hit subscribe, it's free. Come back again, we'll be right here with truth and laughs and zero fear. We don't always agree, but that's the show. One love, two minds, letting it flow. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. We don't always agree, but that's the show. One love, two minds, letting it flow. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. We don't always agree, but you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. We dig deep with crack jokes, we call it like we see. If that's your vibe, you belong here with me. Thanks for watching, hope you felt the spark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. Please hit that like before it gets dark. It's free, it keeps us going strong. You're part of the crew now.